It is Thursday, April 18th, 2024. And you're listening to the Carlos Whitaker Podcast. This is episode 16 of the Carlos Whitaker Podcast. Are you in the groove? You bouncing your shoulders with me? Come on, wherever you're at. Let me see it. Bounce with me, bounce with me. Come on, bounce with me, bounce with me. That's right. If you're watching on YouTube or Spotify right now, you can see that not only am I bouncing, but I'm feeling a little silly. Why? Well, if you followed my trip to Japan, you recall that when I was at Tokyo Disney, I picked up a very warm thing to put on my head, and it is Winnie the Pooh. Everyone say hi, Winnie the Pooh, if you can see him. And it is freezing cold in my basement. Okay, so here's the situation. Hello, speak English, Carlos. Which my wife, who you will hear from a whole lot in this episode, when it gets to like 74 outside, she cranks the AC to make sure that this house is cold because she don't play. Homie don't play with sweat. And my wife, she's just a little hotter than everyone else's wives in more ways than one. And so she loves to keep the house cold. Like my fingers are freezing. And so like upstairs, it's like you can endure it. Down here in the basement where I'm at currently right now, it is freezing. So if my fingers slowly stop working during this episode, you will know exactly why. And that is why I'm wearing the Winnie the Pooh hat. It's not just because I'm vibing with Pooh. Although, did that sound like Pooh? Welcome to the Carlos Whitaker Podcast. No, it doesn't. Okay, I'm sorry. What is wrong with me? Well, what is wrong with me is I just spent the weekend just emoting through my daughter's bachelorette party, I wasn't at the bachelorette party, but I actually put a highlight on my Instagram if you want to go back and watch. But and then through like her shower and then brunch and praying for her, it just was, Lord have mercy, it was a lot. So it was a lot. And in the middle of all of the celebrations, actually really at the end of all the celebrations, when my daughter finished her wedding shower, and it was the wedding shower so remember last weekend, not you remember, unless you follow me on Instagram, but last weekend or 2 weekends ago, we went to Jackson, Tennessee, for Brady's family and friends shower. This one here in Nashville it's not really our family shower because we don't have any family here besides my mom and dad, which is a lot of family, but I digress. It was like Heather's friends through this shower. So it was a lot of people that maybe can't make it to the wedding here in Nashville, since we're having the wedding in Jackson, Wyoming. But who was there were, all of a sudden I looked up and I was like, wait a second. You got Allie Bergstrom. You got Eve. Eve, I can't ever say your last name. I'm knowing you for 20 plus years because niece is your husband's last name. But since you're Eve, you are a strong and mighty woman. And I say your last name wrong every single time. But Eve was there. Ashley Newell was there. Heather was there. Jacinda Hale was there. Jamie Santel was there. All of a sudden, I looked around and all of these women that we have raised our kids together were sitting in a room, and almost all of them have at least an 18-year-old. And Ashley is cool because Ashley is kind of in the middle. She's literally right between our daughters and us. But she identifies actually as a friend to both. More of a mentor to the daughters, and probably more of a friend to us. And Kettrick, Ashley's husband, is one of my close friends. And anyway, so they're all there in a room, and I asked them two questions. Two questions. And they all went around, and I said, number one, if you could go back 20 years and talk to yourself 20 years ago, as you entered this journey of parenthood, as you entered this journey of getting married, of being a mom. I mean, for some, it was 27 years ago. Allie, looking at you. What would you say? What solid advice would you give yourself? And I've always hated that question, but now that I'm 50, I like it. It's a hard question to answer, but so I feel like they're going to speak to a lot of the Insta Familia. If you're thinking about becoming a parent, if you have been a parent for 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, 1 year, whatever. I'm telling you, the wisdom from that single question alone. Jacinda Hale, did I miss her? I think I missed her when I was introing. But all of them, they drop the wisdom like it's hot. They drop the mic. The second question I asked, if you could give Brady and Sohaila one piece of wisdom, what would that be? All of it, literally every single piece of advice, I thought, oh, this is going to be applicable in my marriage, not just for newlyweds. So without further ado, I would like for all of you to welcome women that legitimately changed my life, my wife's life, my kids' lives, my family's lives, and continue to do so, and lean into their wisdom as they take you on a little journey. Okay, so as we're starting off this conversation, everyone's going to already know what has happened in the last 24 hours. So Heather, I want you to just introduce yourself and pass the mic to the next person so they can introduce themselves and maybe how you're related to this crew here.
Well, my name is Heather Whitaker, and I am married to Carlos Whitaker, and we have a daughter, Sohaila. I don't know, I'm introducing myself, but anyways, you can come in here, Charlie. You don't have to hide.
Charlie may end up
okay.
on this.
So this is this is my crew. These are like the old lifers. Like I had a crew of people in here that were friends for forever. But Charlie's being productive, and currently we're recording a podcast.
You're doing great. Boom. Yeah.
So great. But I'm in a room with just the probably longer friends that I have had. I have lots of friends that have walked with my girl getting married, and these are just some of the ones that are that have known her when she was itty bitty and tiny and have done life. We've done a lot of seasons together. So anyways, you asked to do a podcast with them.
I did. I was like, well, they're all in a room together. To have like our friends that love Sohaila like in a room together is pretty powerful. So
yeah, I think it was we're at the end of the day, so we've had a long day of lots of tears and stuff. But sorry, I think it's just really fun to have had life with these people. And some people, like even Charlie, like we see you quarterly, maybe, it's not every day that we're in each other's lives. Allie, like we visit Allie and Jacinda, like we see each other a couple times a year. It's not like we're everyday friends right now. I mean, we're friends every day, but you know what I mean? Like we're not seeing each other every week at church. We're not in gymnastics together. We're not doing those things. So it's just a different season. But I don't know. I think there's just such a fun resting in knowing, these guys have been here for forever.
Yeah. Pass the mic and introduce yourself, Allie, because you may have to leave halfway through.
My name's Allie Bergstrom.
She's been a guest on the podcast before.
Have been a guest on the podcast before. Yes.
Yeah.
Couldn't tell you which one, so.
Yeah, we'll put it in the show notes.
Check it out. I have known the Whitakers since 2010. They moved to Nashville. We became instant friends. Have done a lot of life together.
Yeah.
Am I close?
Yep, you're good.
Okay, good. And have known Sohaila. So she would have been 6, 8.
I think she was 9.
Yeah. But like just all things princess.
Yeah.
She was.
Yeah. We have 4 daughters, 2 of which are the same age as your 2 daughters.
Yes.
So they have just, for 7 years of life together, have been the bestest of friends.
Yes.
So, 7 in the same place.
All the math people are really excited right now. People that wanted to know.
All the math people. 7 years in.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's a big difference.
Yeah. 14 years altogether, but 7 years in the same place, doing the gymnastics and doing the everyday stuff together.
Yes.
Yeah. Yep, for sure.
Jamie Santel.
Ready?
I'm Jamie Santel.
Hey, Jamie.
Hello. I've never been on the podcast.
No, you've not.
Before, so this is my podcast
welcome,
debut.
Welcome to the. Rob definitely was on the podcast.
Yes.
Rob was on one of the more popular podcasts ever. Where remember I titled it "How a Black Democrat and a White Republican Can Be Friends" or something. I can't remember what it was, but it was awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm married to him. So.
Yes.
Yeah. So a long time, but we met at Meaty Monday.
Okay. Well, for the listeners, you can't just say that. You're going to have to unpack what
Okay,
that
let me
is.
rewind. So it was like a community group that we met on Mondays, and we grilled out, and everybody brought your own meat, hence the name Meaty Monday.
Yeah.
So, but I feel like it's the last few years, I feel like that we've just really kind of, probably 5 or 6 years that we've really kind of dug in and just.
And I think that's cool that, like, you know, for people that are listening, that sometimes I think you can see people's relationships online and you can see like, oh my gosh, they've known each other for 25 years and like they're so deep. But legitimately, like, the digging started way later with you and Rob. Right. And you were at my 50th birthday. Like, it's never too late to dig for relationships.
Because I feel like we were kind of on the periphery for a while.
Yeah.
And then I feel like kind of became inner circle a little bit later than other people here. So
good. So
late
good.
bloomer.
Late bloomer. Yeah.
Love it. Yes. Pass the mic.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm Eva Nunziato. I'm an OG.
OG.
And I met Sohaila when she was 8. And Sayana and O'Hara, my daughter, are just a few months apart. And I can just remember they all look like triplets. If you remember, beautiful, long, dark hair and dark eyes and dark skin. And people would ask all the time. And it's been a fun ride. It's been really just so joyful and so thankful and grateful. And I just looked around this room and saw the fruit. And you guys so much. And just the reaping and the love. And I thought, this is just such a beautiful depiction of true friendship. People that do life together that aren't just surfaced, that don't just go wide.
Yeah.
It's not just social media for the gram. It goes deep.
Yeah.
And I thought, wow, this is true wealth. The Whitakers are wealthy. They are just rich people. I'm not talking about your bank account. It's just, you're very, very rich. And I'm just honored to be a part of that. It's just been such a privilege. So thank you for this honor of us being able to celebrate the life. And just side note, I'm a huge Carlos fan and I listen to this podcast all the time. So this is everything. Now my whole life is made because I try to walk 5 to 7 miles a day, bragging. Yes. All right. 3, 4, 5, 7, maybe one time a week. But either way, I have my AirPods and I'm listening to this podcast.
Let's go. So and now you're going to listen
to
yourself.
My whole life has been made. Drop the mic. Done.
Boom. And now it's being passed to Ash.
I'm Ashley Newell, and we met the same year because we moved here the same year.
That's right.
We came from Oklahoma, you guys from Atlanta, and we have gone through lots of life together, lots of transitions, and lots of life, lots of history, and it's gone deep at different times in this room. And so it's been a really cool, deep well, just a journey.
And you're in a different season of life.
Yes.
Than the rest of us are.
Yes. So
and the depths and the wells is just as deep as everyone else.
Yes. Yeah. So I'm in between you guys, all the moms and all the daughters. So I'm right in the middle. So I'm like 10 years from Allie, 10 years from her girls and from Heather's girls. And so maybe a little more. But so, it's a cool thing for me to have been in the middle and have relationships with multi-generations within the families. And so it's been a sweet thing for me.
Did you know that Americans spend an average of 90% of their time indoors and take about 20,000 breaths a day? Well, check this out. The indoor air that we breathe is 2 to 5 times more polluted than the outdoor air. And in some cases, up to 100 times more polluted. So what in the world do we do? Do we just wear oxygen tanks inside of our house? No, you don't have to do that. Why? Because I found you something called the Air Doctor. Air Doctor is an air purifier that filters out 99.99% of dangerous contaminants so your lungs don't have to. This includes pollutants such as, check this out, allergens. If there's something I need it to filter out right now in Nashville, Tennessee, it's all that pollen, which basically pollen is Satan's dandruff. It's like Satan scratching his head and it lands in my lungs. Allergens, pollen, pet dander, dust mites, mold spores, and even bacteria and viruses that make you sick. So here's the offer. Air Doctor comes with a 30-day breathe easy money back guarantee. So if you don't love it, you can just send it back for a refund minus the shipping. So I need you to head to Air Doctor Pro. All of you listening right now, head to airdoctorpro.com and use promo code HUMANHOPE. We still got some Human Hope left over here. You'll receive up to $300 off air purifiers exclusive to podcast customers. You will also receive a free 3-year warranty on any unit, which is an additional $84 value. Lock in this special offer by going to airdoctorpro.com and use promo code HUMANHOPE. Carlos Whitaker podcast listeners, I know that you're trying to figure out how to keep your kids healthy when they don't want to eat and put all the good nutritious stuff in their pie holes. Well, I got some help for you. It is Hiya. Hiya is a vitamin that is going to infuse into your little young ones or even your older young ones' bodies exactly what they need. Typical children's vitamins are basically candy in disguise, right? They're filled with 2 teaspoons of sugar, unhealthy chemicals, and other gummy junk that our kids don't need to eat. And while most children's vitamins are filled with, again, 5 grams of sugar, that's 2 teaspoons. That's a lot. Hiya is made with 0 sugar and 0 gummy junk. It fills in the most common gaps in modern children's diets to provide the full body nourishment our kids needs with a yummy taste that they love. So listen, I need you to understand that it's designed for kids of all ages, not just babies, not just toddlers, but you can give it to your teenagers as well. And it's sent straight to your door, so you've got one less thing to worry about. I have loved seeing so many of you jump on the Hiya bandwagon and say that your kids love it. We've worked out a special deal with Hiya for their best-selling children's vitamin. Receive 50% off your first order. To claim this deal, you must go to hiyahealth.com/humanhope. This deal is not available on their regular website. Go to hiyahealth.com/humanhope and get your kids the full body nourishment they need to grow into healthy adults. JJ, you've been on numerous times.
I don't think you've ever called me JJ. I actually just was like, that was the weirdest introduction ever.
I just called her JJ. I don't even know where that came from.
That was like, that just threw me. I didn't even know where to go from there. I'm Jacinda. I am not JJ.
She's not JJ.
And I'm BFF. I don't know. I've always been here. So I mean, I feel like
you and Heather met.
Heather actually went to high school with elementary school with my husband, with Brian, Carlos's best friend.
Yep.
And it's actually really sweet all this time because it's bringing me back to the season of you guys getting married, of me and Brian getting married. It was the same. We all got married in May. We got married the same weekend, just a long time before. And we've been there for dating, through marriage, through children, through now our children getting married. This is really exciting.
And, I think the question I want to ask to everybody here is, there's a lot of people that are listening to this podcast that are going to listen to it going like, oh my gosh, I want to glean wisdom. People always want to, I remember being 20, wanting to hang out with somebody twice my age to get wisdom. But I think the question that needs to be asked is, we've all raised our kids. You're in the middle, Ashley, of raising yours. And you have, they're either now getting married or graduating and going to college or having babies. You're 20 years ago listening to this podcast and you're hoping, I need one thing. I need one thing from these ladies. What is the one thing you tell yourself? What is the one thing that you think, man, I wish I would have, I hate to say, I wish I would have known. The one thing I would have known, but it honestly is a great question. I know why people ask that, because now that you've gotten to the other side and you're like, you have everyone here has great relationships with their kids. Everyone here has, we have great relationships with each other's kids. How did that happen?
Yeah, I actually just got asked this question last week, and it's often because actually I was getting my hair done and my hairdresser said, it's really like you really like your kids and they really like you. You spend time with each other. My oldest daughter had to ask for some time off for work, and she's asked for, I think, 14 days off because we're going on a trip. And her manager said to her, I don't know, I'm not upset that you're asking for this much time off. I'm just so perplexed that you would want to spend all of that with your family. Mm-hmm. And Tara's like, but have you met them? Like, we really have a lot of fun. Like, we love being together. And I think that's kind of how I responded to my hairdresser. I just said, I think, and same thing, she's just engaged. So she was so curious, I said, I think when they're younger and continuing to discipline, I think discipline is massive. And I said, and I hate to discipline. Like, I want to be the fun one. I love having fun. And even when I do discipline my children, even to this day, because I still have teenagers at home, I even tell them, like, oh, I don't enjoy it. I enjoy this even less than you're enjoying this, but it's so worth it because I love you so much. And we discipline those that we love, and we discipline those we want to spend time with their future selves, right? Mm-hmm. They're all learning and growing right now.
That is good.
And they're not perfect and they're making mistakes, and it's amazing that they're making mistakes and learning under our roof. But, it's like longevity. I want friendship. And now they are these humans that I would choose to spend with them over another friend, not because they're my kids. Yes, of course, I love them because we're kids, but I just invested in them and the time that I'm just reaping now. I'm reaping. So I want to say to the moms that are seriously thrashed and exhausted and tired of saying no or tired of putting their foot down, and I just say, keep doing it. It is so worth it. It is so worth it because they're going to be people that you want to spend time with.
I think it was John Elridge who said, boys just want to be told that they have what it takes, and girls just want to be told that they're lovely. And I have one of each. And Charlie and I have made sure that our son, since he was little, knew that he had what it takes. And that O'Hara always knew she was lovely. No matter what people said, no matter what's online, no matter what's on TikTok, you're just lovely. I wanted to teach them who they are and whose they are. And I would say the number one thing that you and I have consciously done, Charlie, is show up. My son is about to turn 25. He's about to get married. He is coaching a team that he's coached since they were in 4th grade. They're seniors this year in about an hour. And we're going to be watching him coach. And we're going to be cheering him on the sideline, because whether he's 5 or 15 or going to be 25, I'm going to show up. I'm going to be that mom.
For the coach.
As a coach. And people come up, which kid's yours? Which football player's yours? Cool. I'm like, the guy with the clipboard. and we're cheering as if our kids are getting the touchdowns. But and here's what's so fascinating to me, that when they score, last week when they scored, my son looked at me and I gave him a thumbs up. And it was like, wow, he still wants to know we're there.
Yes, that's good.
I'm sorry, I get emotional, but it's just like, we're going to be there in the bad, in the ugly, and in the beauty. We're going to be there cheering. Whether he wins the game or loses the game, we're going to be there. And that's the number one thing I would say.
Great.
Okay. So we have 2 girls, 18 and 20.
Yeah.
And I think one of the most important things is inviting them in, like inviting them to the table to sit with the adults, inviting them into the conversation, letting them know like they are important. What you have to say is important. What you have to say is wise. And so, I mean, I remember growing up and there was always, the kids' table or the adult conversation. And it was very separate, right? And so I think our kids, we've tried to do a good job of inviting them, to be a part of our lives. And so then it's like, as they get older, they know how to talk to adults. They know how to carry on a conversation, and they enjoy that. And people enjoy, being around them and having conversation with them. So, our whole lives, it's always like everybody likes to be invited, right? And that includes our kids, and maybe especially our kids.
And you can tell with your kids that they've been invited.
Yeah. So
That's
my one
that's
piece
good.
of wisdom.
No, that's good.
If I was going to tell,
and by the way, there's just one more question after this. I want everyone to answer this question, and then one more question, and then you'll be free to leave.
Okay, awesome. If I was going to tell my 28-year-old, 20 years ago, woof, I'm probably the oldest mother here. Wow. And I'm a grandmother, by the way.
Yes, you are. 3.
4 daughters, 3 granddaughters.
Wow.
I'm living my best life.
Yeah.
But if I was going to tell myself something, 28-year-old Allie with 4 kids.
Yeah.
I think I would tell her to give herself a lot more grace than she did. Simply because I think I had a lot of grace for my kids. And I feel like Blake and I both created a space where we weren't perfect, and we shared that with them. Like, hey, we messed up. When I was grumpy with Daddy today, that wasn't cool. I lost my temper, and I want to apologize to you guys and to Dad. And we just created a space that was safe to not always have our stuff together. And so today, well, even raising the kids, having that space of them knowing that they're going to be there, we're going to be there when things are hard and they're not well and mentally they're struggling or physically they're struggling, they could come to us. The conversation was open. Their voice mattered, and it was safe. Like it was safe to not necessarily always be okay. But I think for myself, I didn't create that space as a mother. I always had to do it perfect. It always had to be done well. And when it wasn't, there was a lot of, shaming for myself. And so if that is you, I just tell you to give yourself a lot more grace than you're giving yourself.
Yeah.
Because that's as far as this room, that's the gospel when it's cut. That's what it bleeds is grace. And so give it to yourself as much as you give it to your people.
That's good. Passing the mic.
I would say 20 years ago, trying to tell myself 20 years ago that it's okay to say I'm sorry and to repair and connect, because I did not know how to do that.
Wow.
And I'd say there's nothing that will teach you how to do that other than marriage or as well as marriage and having kids. And especially, I think it's important you've got to start doing that in marriage, but also when you have kids. I did not know how to do that with friends or family growing up, is to own up to something where I have a broken connection and how to repair it. That is not something I learned until I got married and then had kids. And especially that was never modeled for me in childhood either, with any parents or families I was around. And so it's really cool to see, because I've been able to witness a lot of you guys go through things with your kids older, because when I met you guys, you had littles and I had none. I had no kids. And so now that I have littles and you guys have older, it's just been really cool to see how you guys in that season and learning how to apologize, how to repair and connect with your kids, with your spouses. And it's just such a sweet thing, and just being able to grow and see the different phases. And I have learned so much, even watching you guys go through really challenging things with your kids in the older years. And I feel like there's even so many things that I feel like I'm already going to be equipped with just by watching you guys, and parenting the way you guys have parented. So sweet.
Ashley's voice quivered first. No, but it's sweet. Yeah, no, it's sweet. Babe?
I feel so much pressure. I don't know if I have wisdom here, but I just feel like for me, honestly, my biggest, and this is so shallow, it's totally different than where they all went. My biggest regret is that we didn't, I wanted to live on a farm. Why didn't we go and move out? near the Bergstroms when they, when we were here. Like, why? Like, I wish that we had done some of the things that I didn't think were possible.
Yep. That's super deep.
And even and risk it. Like, we're risky people, but for some reason we didn't risk in that space. And I just think I would have loved to raise my kids in nature and no screens and been the weird homeschool mom that the kids were actually engaged with people and themselves, and I raised great kids in the city, but that's one thing that I wish that I was able to give them.
That's good. Do you have a question for your friends that you want them to answer?
What was your no? I'm so sorry, guys. We've had a lot of brain space this weekend. Yeah, a lot of emotional and deep spaces. So I'm a little fried.
Yeah, no, this is good. This is perfect. So here's the last question. So now I want you to talk to Brady and Sohaila.
Oh, this is fun.
Yep, I want you to talk to Brady and Sohaila, because when you're talking to Brady and Sohaila, you're actually talking to a lot of people. You're talking to a lot of people that either are, there could be people that are just about to get married. There could be people that have been married for 10 years and they're like, I want to start over. I want to start new. I want to start fresh. You're talking to Brady and Sohaila. Give them one solid. Give them something solid that, again, as you give it to them, you're just going to be giving it to thousands of people that they're going to be like, I can apply that to my life. You don't have to be a newlywed to apply the advice that's about to be given, but talk to Brady and Sohaila.
Okay. I think for me, looking back over our marriage, so we'll talk marriage, not necessarily kids.
Sure.
But when I married, so I'll talk to Brady and Sohaila. So when I married your dad, I was done.
Not your dad, Brady.
Sohaila's dad. Obviously. I obviously was young and just in love. Now people go, when you look for a spouse, make sure that they're this, and this, and I just was in love, and this guy was saying yes, he wanted to get married, so it just, there was all those other things out the window. So I just married you and for his dimples that he did not pass down to my children. But all that to say is that we had a lot of hard years because we didn't know any better. We didn't know what to look for. We didn't know how to have healthy relationships. We didn't know what brokenness in ourselves. We didn't know things that we were living under. We didn't know that. So we were doing the best that we could with what we had. But, Brady and Sohaila are coming from a different space because they're
freaking head start.
The head start that they have is so much different than ours. But I will say this, and I've used this example before, but y'all know I love to hike, and I love hiking up a mountain. And I remember we used to live in Southern California, and there's this mountain called San Jacinto. Is that right?
San Jacinto.
And we went backpacking. Were we dating, or were we? I don't even know if we were married. And
with Krista Curtis's brother.
Yeah, but we went with some friends, and we backpacked maybe a night or two. And we got to the top, and then when we got to the top, I have blisters, I'm sore, I'm tired, I'm dirty. And I look over and there's all these people getting off a tram. And I'm like, what? We could have taken a tram up here. And I just, but the pride and the satisfaction and the grit that I got from hiking up that mountain versus just paying and taking the gondola. Yes, you can get somewhere with a gondola, but that work that it takes to get someplace is just so worth it. So if that is asking, it's you're going to go through things. Life says that, the Bible says it's not going to be fairy tales and roses the whole time, but it's taking that posture when you are working through things. Yes, I can't wait to see the view from the top that I got there through him, through the hard work, through the maturity. So
that's good. Great. Wow.
That made me think of when we were in Utah and we were hiking Bryce Canyon and the trail said closed, can't go. And Heather was like, no, it doesn't mean that. I know it says that, but I think we can still go. Oh my God, it's we're going from red dirt to snow and feet. I've never seen that many feet of snow, but I actually remember you saying, do you see those people way up there? They're like this. I thought they were trees. I couldn't see the people because they look like trees. They're missing it. Like they're missing all of this because they just drove to that parking lot, parked their car, took a picture of an amazing view, but they missed the journey. They missed the journey, which hands down is my favorite trip I've ever been on. We literally saw an avalanche. I mean, it was
right in front
amazing.
of us.
We could have died. Like that. That is marriage. That is like, this fight could kill us. Like one of us might die because I don't like you right now. But at the end of the day, the actually fighting for the connection and the reconnecting and all of the little incredible. Sohaila, Brady, you guys are amazing at capturing moments. And we all of us could probably in our marriages do a better job of being more present, and enjoying the journey, the avalanches included, of our marriages, of life. And not just driving to the top. Checking off a box. I got married because someday your kids, if you have children, they're going to move out and you have each other. And if you just drove to the top and you took the easy route, there's probably not a lot of connection. You haven't forged through those thick pads of snow where you felt like you were going to fall off, but you had each other and you made it.
So good.
First of all, I love you both. You're amazing. Secondly, Charlie and I just celebrated our 27th anniversary on Friday.
Yes, we did.
And I think one of the things that I learned in the latter part is not to emphasize or put any thought into the small little things. I feel like the first part of our marriage, we tried to push those buttons a little bit. We were button pushers. And I feel like over the past 15 years, especially now since we're empty nesters, we avoid those buttons. And I once read a marriage counselor said, everything that annoys you from your spouse, rate it 1 to 10. So if the toothpaste is being squeezed from the middle, that would be a 3. We're not going to say anything about that. Or if the underwear is next to the hamper instead of in the hamper, 3.672.
That's like a 10 for Heather. How did that become a 2?
And thank you for saying that because everyone's numbers are different.
Oh, good.
That's excellent, right? So for Eve Annunziato, it's a 3.278.
There we go, Annunziato.
However, if maybe he says something that is a shame trigger, that might be a 9. So if it's a 9 or above, I might say that hurt my feelings. So just learn those small little things to you that are insignificant.
That's so good.
Just ignore them now. But if they're high and you're feeling strongly about it, a 9 or 10, then bring it up. Talk about it. That is something worth battling over.
That's good.
And when I got to interview my mother when she was in hospice and we played her video for the funeral and you were all there.
I was there.
And I'll say it in my Philadelphia accent. I asked her because she had been married over 50 years at that point when she was in hospice. And I told her to give us all advice. And with her Philly accent, she said, let me tell you something, Eve. No matter what door you knock on, you can knock on any door. If they're married, they got the same problems as everybody else. Sometimes you like them, and sometimes you don't. Sometimes your dad liked me, and sometimes he didn't. But it's all insignificant. And when the enemy comes and pushes, go stronger, go harder, worship louder, pray longer, and just go for it. But don't you worry about your problems. They're the same as everyone else behind every door. So I'll end with her advice.
Let's go. That's great. That's brilliant. Charlie?
Just real quick, real short. Always make your home a safe place for each other.
Good.
Always choose to be kind to each other because we have a tendency when you're with somebody every single day for so long, sometimes when you go out and you go to dinner with somebody, you remember and you you make an effort to be kind and have fun at the dinner.
Yeah.
And then when you get home and you're done being social, sometimes you forget to still be kind. If you're going to be with that person more than any other person, show them kindness.
Yeah.
And that will go a long way.
Kindness is 9.5.
Yep. MiddleTennesseeWeather.com. Guess what I just started doing again because my calf is healing? I played pickleball. And guess what I needed to do because it was 87 degrees outside? I needed to drink water. And guess what I poured into my water? I poured in some LMNT. I love LMNT because it replenishes the electrolytes in my body that I lose when I begin to perspire. LMNT, LMNT is incredible. Okay, so whether or not you're an athlete, whether or not you just like to go on hikes, if you like to walk, when we exercise, we lose the things that our body needs inside of it, and we've got to replenish it. LMNT is a tasty electrolyte drink mix with everything you need and nothing you don't. That's the biggest thing, okay? That means a lot of salt with no sugar, okay? Check this out. It contains a science-backed electrolyte ratio of 1,000 milligrams sodium, 200 milligrams potassium, and 60 milligrams magnesium. Again, with no junk. We don't like the junk on the Carlos Whitaker podcast, and LMNT don't give that junk to you either. Okay, I use it every single day I play pickleball. It is designed for everybody. NFL athletes use it, NBA athletes use it, and future professional senior pro pickleball players use it, like me as well. Right now, LMNT is offering a free sample pack with any purchase. The LMNT sample pack includes 1 packet of every flavor. This is the perfect offer for any of you interested in trying all the flavors or who wants an introduction to LMNT. Get yours at drinklmnt.com/Carlos Whitaker. This deal is only available through my link. You must go to drinklmnt.com/Carlos Whitaker with 2 T's in Whitaker, please. LMNT offers no questions asked refunds as well. Try it. It's totally risk-free. If you don't like it, go ahead and share that packet with a salty friend and they will give you your money back. No questions asked. You got nothing to lose. When I needed to start selling things online, I tried about 15 different online stores and I landed with the best. That is Shopify. If you've ever bought any Instafamilia merch, it was Shopify that you used. And so Shopify will actually allow me to deliver the best customer service in my team to you. I love Shopify. But not only do I love Shopify, so many other people love Shopify as well. What do I mean by that? Well, listen to this. Shopify powers 10% of all e-commerce in the United States of America. And Shopify is the global force behind Allbirds, Rothy's, and so many more. So many entrepreneurs, millions of them of every size across 175 countries. Plus, Shopify's extensive help resources are there to support your success every step of the way. I believe that even my mom, who is 72 years old and lives across the street, if she wanted to, she could set up her own Shopify store. Maybe I can have her do that and sell some of her good old-fashioned cooking on there as well. Anybody can do this, okay? Anybody. So this is what I want you to do. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/Carlos. All lowercase, please. Go to shopify.com/Carlos now to grow your business no matter what stage you're in. Shopify.com/Carlos. Okay, Jamie Santel.
All right. So Rob and I have been married for 24 years.
Yes.
So what I have to say is super simple. It's not going to be super, deep and lengthy as Eve, but.
Can you do it in a Philly accent though?
Absolutely not. Okay. No. If Rob were here, yes, he could do that for you. Not me. Just to be honest with each other. And it was, well into our marriage and just learning that anything but the full truth is a lie.
Wow.
And so just even when it's hard and even when it's uncomfortable, or if it's hard and uncomfortable, just to be honest with each other. And so that, I mean, that's something we, you learn from a little, when you're a little kid, but I think that's something that we have learned in our marriage. And so if you can learn that from the beginning and not later on, I think that's good.
That is good.
Yep.
Great. Thank you. Who else is left? Have you done it yet? Cinda?
Okay.
Brady and Sohaila.
Brady and Sohaila. Someone said something to this effect of, this is your story and nobody else's.
Mm-hmm.
And this is going to be the fun part, actually. Like, you're going to be discovering things that you thought you knew everything about each other, but we are here to promise you do not. Especially once you live together and all those fun little things. I just remember when Brian and I were very first married. We've been married 23 years. When we were first married, I remember we were in our first apartment and we went to go grocery shopping, and we both were bringing in what we've always known or what we lived with, right? So my mom bought 1% milk. I know you think that's disgusting. And Brian's mom brought non-fat milk. So we went to the grocery store and we just had this moment of like, oh wait, we both went to grab a carton of milk and we grabbed different ones. And then Brian goes, you know what? We can buy whichever milk we want to buy. Like, what do you want to buy? I don't know. What do you want to get? And I think we got 2%. But anyways, it was just even the little things that can just be so fun. Like, what are your preferences?
What is going to be the you?
What is going to be for your Pendergrass apartment day 1, day 14. So that's super fun. Another funny thing is, again, I'm just thinking back to those early days, and we just did things differently. And the way I always was raised, that just seemed normal to me, and the way that he was always raised was normal to him. Neither one was right or wrong, but I remember our first Easter married. My mom made a big deal out of holidays and events and gift giving. And it wasn't really a conversation. It was just an expectation, because that's just the way we always did it in our family. And I remember Easter morning came, and Brian did have thought. He got me a chocolate bunny. And I was like, oh, thanks. And it wasn't like Dove chocolate. It was like the cheap
Walgreens,
gross, fake, googly eyes bunny rabbit. But that's what they did in his family, and that was a big deal, and they put it in the freezer. I mean, later he's telling me they put it in the freezer so then it's cold, and like he has this great memory of it. But me, I come out with this basket full, spilling over everything, and he's like, what? There's like outfits in there. He's like, what is happening? I didn't get the memo. I didn't even know about this. And I remember crying, and my feelings were so hurt, but he didn't know he was supposed to give me a basket. We don't do baskets anymore. But, it's just going to be fun. Have fun and figure out what things actually matter, and you're going to start coming up with what things matter for your house. And some of that's going to, evolve. If Brian were here, what he would say at the very beginning, we decided before we got married, divorce was not an option, but also those were words we didn't play with. Those were not playful words. Those were not fighting words. It wasn't, if we got in an argument or if we were going through something hard, we made an agreement that would be never something that we would threaten or use and manipulate within a conversation or something else. But it was this pact that we made and this promise that we made to each other that we're in it for the long haul. So that means every argument or challenge that we would come into with each other, we would remind each other, even in a heated moment, oh, okay, hang on, let's take a pause and remember that we're actually for each other.
Yeah.
We're actually on the same team. We're going to be together forever. So it's not really at the end of the day who's right or even whose way is better. Yeah. It's how do we come to an agreement or a conclusion of the basis is we actually really love each other and we're really for each other. And I think that's been the sweetest thing because there's such a security and a safety in that. There is no other option. There's no plan B. There's only plan A. It's the only plan. But you do fight differently. You do look at things differently because I want the best for him. I don't want to tear Brian down. I want to build him up. Who do I want to be married to? I want to build up the man I want to be married to. And he wants to build up the woman that he wants to be married to. So I think it's, just love.
Yeah.
Brady and Sohaila, I would say there was a couple of things that people said to us when we got married. One, that your first year of marriage is the hardest. And two, marriage is all about compromise. And I would say neither one of those are entirely true. The first one totally depends on the person, the circumstances, the people. I would say, don't have that expectation that this is going to be the hardest, because it doesn't have to be like that. Our first year was awesome. And so I'd say year 3, that's when we started to have to work on things. And then about the compromise, when I started, when you think of it always like that, marriage is always about compromise. That always tends to involve someone having to give something up, which can lead to resentment. Absolutely. But if you shift your mindset to marriage is a collaboration, kind of what you were saying, Jacinda, that we're a team. We are for each other. We are one and we are equal. Then your mindset is a little bit different in how you reconnect, repair, and come up with agreements, conclusions, decisions. And because the Holy Spirit in you, Sohaila, is not going to butt heads with the Holy Spirit in Brady. And so if there's a little bit of a rub, then marriage is a magnifier. Marriage magnifies the thing in you that the Lord wants to refine. And so if there's a rub, it means you need to go to the Lord and see what he has to say, because marriage will bubble up the things in you that the Lord wants to refine. Yeah. And so,
Wow. That was a mic drop. I'm so glad you were the end.
To be you.
Oh yeah. I'm definitely going to use that one. Yeah. Come on. Piggyback. Let's go.
I'm not going to preach like Ashley did, but just something that Jacinda said. Wait, now I'm JJ?
You're Jamie. I mean, you're JJ too.
This just got awkward.
Jacinda wouldn't let me call her that. So you're JJ now.
Yeah. But something that Jacinda said was saying, you're either building up or tearing down. And I think that's so true with your words. So like every word that you speak is not a neutral word. So everything that Brady says to Sohaila is either building her up or tearing her down. And the same thing with Sohaila. Everything, Sohaila, that you say to Brady is either going to build him up or tear him down. So I think just knowing the importance and the power of your words, just to piggyback off of Jacinda.
Not even to each other. You can just say
or
something
about each other.
Yeah, about each other. You can even say, it doesn't even have to be about each other to somebody else. You can even say something about something that someone hung up on a wall, and it's not necessarily even, but every single thing you say is either going to go up or tear them down.
Yeah. So
that's good. Any other little extras, babe? You got any?
No, I just love you guys, and I can't wait for. I just can't wait for winning. Like, I can't wait for you guys to win. I can't wait for couples out there to win. Like, we need to just. Words are so powerful. We need to, like Ashley said, not claim, the first year is the hardest, or, after the honeymoon, it goes downhill, no, like we need to actually be excited and actually cheer you on to having it be great. Like, it's going to be, you're going to have to learn and do hard things, but you guys have already learned and done hard things. So like you're already living life. Life is life. So like, let's have a great start. Right.
Yeah.
Yep. So cheers.
Oh wait, I knew there was one more.
And have fun.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. This whole time I'm thinking, but where's the fun?
Yeah.
Have fun. Laughing. Just laugh. Do silly things together. And make each other laugh.
Yeah. Well, goodness gracious. I'm just grateful. I've spent far too long crying over the last few days, but the wedding's freaking 6 weeks away still. I don't know how I have any more tears. I'm just so grateful, so blessed, so blessed. Also, I need to just let you all know that this took work to get to this space. Investing this long in relationships takes work. It takes arguments. It takes fixing relationships. It didn't just happen. And I'm grateful that my wife has showed me the way of having great relationships like this. Love you, babe. Also, if you're keeping up on Instagram today, today's a big day for the Insta Familia. Today, we're trying to do something that has never been done in the history of social media, honestly. And so please head over, if you're listening to this on Thursday or Friday, head over to my Instagram account. And I'm putting a challenge out there to every single one of you listening to join in. And you, honestly, I've never had something that I'm asking you to do, participate in, that will legitimately change a human being's life. Legitimately, I've seen it with my own eyes, like I'm asking you today. Big T's, head over to the Instagram @LowSwit, and I'll see you over there. Love you. Dr. Delight, take us home.